Life teems around us in so many different forms. A community filling our horizons as well as our hearts. Often it can be really hard to make sense of it all and to know exactly how to relate to everything. Our planet has astonishing beauty entangled with remarkable complexity. It is this very diversity that enables Earth to thrive, with each one of us woven together into the very heart of it all. This is called ecology, and it is the ultimate community. Community has radical complexity. It scales up spirituality beyond just the personal. It is relationships written large. Hi, I'm Noel Moles. Welcome to Shalom Quest and to this film which explores the question, what is community? Shalom Quest offers you safe, brave spaces where you have the freedom to find and to follow your own unique personal spiritual path in a way that is true for you. Spirituality has raw simplicity. Everyone is spiritual. It's part of who you are, irrespective of whether or not you believe in a God. I describe spirituality as the flow of the experience of meaning and relationship. Yes, I'm alive. That's what I mean by the flow of the experience. But what does it mean to be alive? Yes, I'm immersed in community. It's about relationships. But how exactly do I want to live? You personally might actually think life has no meaning whatsoever. Respect. Honesty like that is vital. But my only question would be, but what meaning does your life actually have for you now in this very moment? What do you value about your life and the lives of others today? Shalom Quest moves within an understanding that at the heart of all spirituality is to be found what we call universal life-giving values, like love, justice, freedom, truth, and so many more, which are understood across every culture of the planet, with each community also bringing their own rich wisdom and insight into this shared reality. We speak of these universal life-giving values in terms of shalom, that ancient Hebrew word translated as peace, yet understood as wholeness and harmony. It is said by some to be the actual source of every life-giving value. We offer you shalom in the simple hope that it might provide a helpful focus for your own spiritual quest. So what is community? Community is any group that connects because of shared interests or locality. Across our planet, the largest examples of human community are cities. Some are even called a metropolis, the mother city. Today, cities are where well over half of the global population now live. These urban communities bring out both the best and the worst in us. They are certainly a powerful example of what living spiritually today really requires. Now, to help us explore our theme of community, we're going to use the free-running sport and lifestyle of parkour as a metaphor. Parkour has strong spiritual origins and roots. Parkour is a French adapted word that means the way through or the path, perfectly harmonizing with our Shalom Quest strapline, find your path. Parkour aspires to enable someone to move from one point to another, very often across urban cityscapes, as directly as possible, skillfully engaging with whatever obstacles might stand in their way. Parkour is called the art of movement. Participants are called traceurs, those who trace a path.
In my eyes, Spiral it's a community that brings people together that don't necessarily have a place. They have a shared interest, but they don't necessarily have a place where they can go to practice or offload that interest.
So what would be the sort of difference between if someone's asking about, say, like someone does gymnastics and come to parkour?
To the layman person, you would probably describe it as a version of gymnastics, when in actual fact it's nothing like gymnastics.
Exactly.
It's the complete opposite.
Right.
Gymnastics is strict and regulated, as where parkour is free and open.
Yeah.
So whilst we're giving you the skill set to be able to do your own thing, it is you as an athlete who goes off and does your own thing, puts the skills together, tweaks the skills, and if you don't land it in a set way, it doesn't matter, as long as you're doing it safely. So then that tells them that they are really in control of their own body. And I think for a lot of people, maybe those that struggle in school or struggle in sports, they've never had that control over their own body, their own emotions and stuff like that. And the general reason behind it is for self-expression, whether that be emotional self-expression, artistic self-expression, or creative self-expression, something along those lines. Yeah, nice.
Parkour is inspired by indigenous African tribes people whose powerful, flexible bodies and free, truthful spirits had become skillfully honed as their communities met the requirements of living spontaneously within their rainforest environment. The Congolese Lingala word Yamakazi is used by some parkour communities to identify themselves. Strong person, strong spirit. This is powerful community spirituality. Physically, some of us may face bodily challenges that make us unable to actually participate in parkour itself. Nevertheless, the parkour principles, perspectives, and spirit are available to every one of us to embrace in unique ways. Respect for everyone's physical, mental, and moral well-being is preeminent in parkour. The desire to see each person progress and develop to their full capacity, ignited by compassion and vision. This care is something that should energize the core of every expression of community. Acrobatics may be displayed during parkour leaps, but humility is the central principle.
So deep down, the actual fundamentals of parkour are more about the spirit of the human body and putting ourselves through challenges that we might not necessarily want to do to build up that courage and confidence to overcome them in the future.
For parkour traceurs, community is very important. It creates the opportunity for each person to discover and become themselves. Yes, the group will support you, but you must show your confidence by your actions. The experienced traceur will say, "Let me show you how I do it." Now, you discover how you can do it. Make this move your own, showing your style, your strengths within your limitations. Yes, be inspired by others, but you be truly and fully yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. Parkour is not copying, it's creating, innovating. There are no official moves in parkour. Each person is unique. The same must also be true when you are living spiritually within any community. Parkour is about being alive and making life worthwhile, reclaiming what it means to be human. This is also a wonderful definition of spirituality too. Parkour is a freedom that finds expression first and foremost as a state of mind. Only then can it be displayed in physical actions. overcoming mental and emotional obstacles before overcoming physical barriers, increasing self-confidence and critical thinking. It's about engaging and interacting with the world and not just being surrounded by it. Who knows where your limits are? Sometimes you may feel you've hit a plateau, but always keep moving forward, working today to improve on what you achieved yesterday. It's been very well said, those not busy being born are busy dying. Parkour has a phrase, once is never. It's about constant self-refinement. You don't know a move until you can do it spontaneously, until it's part of you, learning, flowing, expressing it naturally. For a spirituality that lives by values, it is exactly the same. Exploring insights, being sensitive to both their impact and their outcomes. Are these actions life-giving for you? Is my behavior life-giving for others in my community? Community comes from the Latin word communitas. It means something common or something shared. It refers to either an unstructured community where all people are equal, or to the very spirit of community itself. This being so, community building is a deeply spiritual concept. In that light, what might the South African concept of Ubuntu, I am because you are, teach us about ourselves and the importance, significance, and also the value of community? Infrastructure may support community, but it can never build it. Building community is a spiritual activity, literally a shared spirit. It involves giving meaning to relationships, envisioning, empowering wider groups to live and engage with one another. However, we must face up to a number of big obstacles that stand in every path. Hard questions in order for our cities and communities to thrive. Here are just 3 of them. Why isn't life fair? Fairness is the quality or value of equality. Decisions that are made free from bias and which just feel right. Fairness is natural and good. Fairness is justice. Both these words, fairness and justice, are at the very center of the idea of shalom and is the experience of every true community. When challenged about injustice, sometimes people just shrug and say, "Who said life had to be fair?" How would you reply to this comment? Unfairness sees resources and opportunities unequally shared, usually by powers beyond most people's control, often as a result of prejudice and discrimination. Unfairness is twisted spirituality. How can we personally and collectively challenge unfairness and injustice? Why is there suffering? In life, suffering always seems a possibility. Freedom is a life-giving value. However, it is also open to other outcomes. Those freedoms that make living and community possible also need wisdom and understanding. Chance can sometimes result in accidents, as well as opening up good opportunities. Ignorance can often lead to disaster. It is knowledge and experience that keep us safe. Evil, however, is always the result of good being deliberately and clearly perverted by hideous and willful choices. Evil moves from cold indifference through to calculated decisions to actually hurt, harm, and destroy individuals and communities on purpose. Why do we focus on the problem of evil instead of declaring and demonstrating the persistent and ever-present power of good, which is many times more powerful than evil? With all the evil and suffering in the world, we must never be prepared to accept it. Evil can never be life-giving. Most people seem instinctively to sense that our world is essentially good and that everywhere should thrive. Yet so often it doesn't. This is the problem. So individually and collectively, what can we do to put this right? What about leadership? Authentic leadership is the ability to initiate, inspire, example, advise, and support in a way that motivates a group towards achieving their shared common goals. One key quality of spirituality is leadership wisdom. It has many styles: creativity with integrity, humility that inspires respect, truth and trust, vision and values are critical leadership qualities. Leaders either frustrate or stimulate. What are the practical implications between these two outcomes of frustrating or stimulating? It has been said, authority is like soap. The more you use it, the less you have. What is this telling us about the nature of leadership and authority? Authentic leadership comes from the quality of a person's character, the clarity of their insight, along with their practical wisdom and humility. So, is there a way ahead? Yes, if we all work together. Yes, by recognizing that community is the fabric of society, with all lives interwoven for the benefit of each other, in a way that also gives each individual more personal freedom than would otherwise have been possible. Understanding that building community is spiritual work. This means making happen what you believe should happen, choosing to be the change you wish to see in your community. What would be the first step you would take? Being constantly focused and aware of a way ahead is how freerunners move. Being community that's sensitive and attuned to every member is how we thrive. Being committed to finding and exploring your own personal path is the way to live. Now, in you finding your own unique path, will its focus be just for you? Or will it include you supporting others to find the path that is uniquely true for them as well?